To the Point with Michael Williams.
The prices of houses in Palm Beach County are on the rise, but wages are staying the same. Are people making enough money to live here? Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Michael Williams has the day off. I'm John Shainman. Our friends at the Palm Beach Post recently reported on a new study that raises some troubling questions about the direction of the economy in our area. The Opportunity Nation study said household incomes in Palm Beach County fell 10% over the past 4 years when they're adjusted for inflation. That compares to the national average of a 4% decline. Now, at the same time, people are spending more of their income on a place to live. Based on the rule of thumb that you should spend 30% of your income on housing, in Palm Beach County, only 54% of families do that. Nationwide, 65% of people do that. In other words, people are spending more of their income on housing here than people across the country, and their wages are going up slower than the salaries of workers across the country. So joining me now to discuss the implications is someone who deals a lot with businesses. Kelly Smallridge, head of the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County. Kelly, thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate that. All right, based on that study there, what does it mean in general for people who are looking to work here?
Obviously, the cost of living in Palm Beach County is going up significantly. There's a price to live in paradise, is what we say. Palm Beach County is one of the most beautiful areas in the state of Florida, and of course, the cost of housing has become a factor, especially for those that are working in this area. Ironically, while the wages look low in comparison nationally, the average salary of Palm Beach County is about $49,000, which is the highest average salary of all 67 counties in the state of Florida. It's just that the cost to live in Palm Beach County is so much higher than other counties that that disparity is even greater in Palm Beach County.
And again, so you deal with a lot of these businesses. Are they concerned about not being able to attract employees here because of the cost?
Yes, and that is something that the Business Development Board has its eyes on right now. That as we bring these companies in areas such as aviation, aerospace, financial services, technology, communications, and life science, that these management staff members are finding it harder and harder to find an affordable home here in Palm Beach County because the price has gone up significantly. As a byproduct of that, companies that are looking to move to this area have no problem bringing in their C-suite, but if they can't relocate their management team, they'll come back to the Business Development Board and say, we're very concerned that our management team cannot afford to locate to Palm Beach County.
So what's the pitch? When you go to these companies who are saying, well, gee, Kelly, it's just too much to go here, how do you combat that?
Not everyone can afford to live on the water, and I think that initially when Northeasterners come to Palm Beach County, they think that they're going to be able to afford a home right on the water. There are many other options in Palm Beach County, from Boca Raton to Jupiter and clear out west, and so it is our role to not only land the business, but show them the affordable housing options and to point out that the taxes here in the state of Florida are not as high as the taxes that they're paying in the Northeast. So when you look at that tax comparison, we fare very favorably, and that's how we're able to win the business.
And do you see this as a problem? I mean, we had the dip in the housing prices a few years ago, but now things seem to have stabilized again, and prices are going back up for homes.
Not only is it a problem in relocating the management team of a company looking to move here, but where we really see it starting to be a bigger problem is in attracting millennials. As they get their college degree, and we encourage them as Palm Beach County business leaders to become educated and come back home and receive a job here and prevent the brain drain, our own college graduates, our own children, and our millennials, the young, innovative, bright minds who want to come back home now to Palm Beach County, are also a whole entire class of individuals not able to afford housing.
That was exactly going to be my next question, is how do you make sure that the future generations come back? Do you guys work closely with, the local colleges and universities to make sure that the jobs that they're preparing these students for are available in our area?
Yes, and that is an entire education initiative in the Business Development Board is very strong because we believe that economic development and education go hand in hand. So we do work very closely with K through 12, public, private schools, our universities, our colleges, our Palm Beach State College. That's a very big undertaking that we recently brought on within probably a 3-year period.
If the cost of housing is going up, are businesses going to have to pay higher salaries? You've already told us Palm Beach County pays the best.
Yes.
There's a ceiling somewhere, right?
And that is another factor that comes into play when a company is looking at relocating to the state of Florida. One thing that they've pointed out is in order to come to Palm Beach County, they're going to have to pay a higher salary. The average salary is higher, the cost of living is higher, and housing is higher, so they realize that. But we are in one of the fastest growing counties and regions in the entire state of Florida. We are the gateway to Latin, Caribbean, and South American markets. Broward, Miami-Dade do not have as much land as we have here in Palm Beach County. So if you want access to those Latin and Caribbean markets with a United States address, access to 3 ports, access to 3 international airports, a very growing and diverse culture here in Palm Beach County and a growing population, Palm Beach County is the place you need to be.
And I'm sure this isn't a unique problem just to Palm Beach County. Have you dealt with some of your colleagues in other areas who've had similar issues and bounced off ideas? And what have they said to you when you've been in this kind, or when they've been in this kind of situation?
Certainly, affordable housing and attracting an educated workforce and millennials is an issue throughout the entire state of Florida. In some counties, they have affordable housing initiatives, whereby developers will pay a certain percentage in order to develop property, will go into a housing bank, and that money then flows over into some portion of providing earmarks for affordable housing. We here in Palm Beach County have a Housing Leadership Council, which during the recession, housing was not an issue, but it's an issue, of course, today, and one of the biggest issues. Therefore, I've agreed to work with our local Housing Leadership Council to talk to them about how big of an issue this is with companies looking to relocate or expand here in our backyard.
What other new things have you gotten in your toolbox to reel in businesses?
Palm Beach County is very aggressive in terms of economic development. As a matter of fact, we are one of the leaders in economic development in the entire state. Our county offers very lucrative incentives, ad valorem tax exemption, job growth incentive fund grants through our career source. We also offer grants for the retraining of current employees or for the training of new employees. Each of our cities, there are 15 that have economic development programs out of 38 cities here in this county. Each of the cities also offer tax abatements. The state offers tax abatements. The state also offers cash. However, you have to be a certain size company and be in business for at least 3 years with strong financial records, creating at least 25 to 50 jobs to meet that minimum threshold. But once you put that incentive package together, it is very attractive for companies looking to move to Palm Beach County.
So obviously we want the employers to come here. Recently, the news with the Office Depot and Staples and perhaps moving some jobs to the north. Is there a concern with that?
There is a concern. Anytime you have an international company or a national corporate headquarters in your backyard, you have to monitor the merger and acquisition activity and understand that there will be those dynamics and the changes in a company when an acquisition like that takes place. So we go in at the very beginning when we hear the news and work with them and lay out for them the toolkit of programs that are available at the city, county, and the state level to retain them here. Of course, our first priority is making sure that those jobs stay here, and that if we can have an expanded presence, of course, we would like to go for that as well. The timing right now is not right for us to discuss the Staples Office Depot because the FTC has not ruled on that acquisition. So it's not time for us to have those conversations. But I would also, on the heels of that, mention that we also just landed United Technologies Corporation's 230,000 square foot built-to-suit and $115 million expansion and over 400 jobs for Palm Beach County. So we keep our eyes on retaining what's in our backyard, but we also keep our eyes on recruiting new ones from outside of Florida.
About a decade or so ago, biotech was the big buzzword, yes. And here in Palm Beach County, we have Scripps, we have Max Planck. Neighbors to the north in St. Lucie County have been having some trouble lately, VGTI not being able to make it at this point. Are you happy / satisfied with where we are with biotech, that they have stabilized in the northern part of the county?
I'm satisfied with the progress, extremely satisfied with the progress of Scripps and Max Planck, in that they have both met the deliverables that were set out when they initially entered into a contract with our county and the state. So they have done very well in their job creation. In terms of the ancillary activity that we plan on bringing into this area, that is a marathon. Building biotech, if you look at Boston or San Francisco, those areas have been built over 30 years. We are only 10 years into the building of our life science industry. What most people don't understand are there are 90 to 100 life science companies that are here. Johnson & Johnson, Zimmer, KRS. If I threw out these names to a general business audience, most would not know the dynamics of what we have right here in our county. And therefore, the Business Development Board hired a company called Facility Logics about a month ago to come in and analyze the assets that we have developed, the jobs that we've created, and the science that's being conducted right here in our backyard of all the life science companies.
So lastly, I mean, looking at the big picture overall, what would you say is the climate right now? We seem to have gotten out of the recession. You know, you talk to a lot of people sound optimistic. You're on the ground floor. Are we moving in the right direction right now?
Yes, I'm very optimistic and still very bullish on this market. I think Palm Beach County is one of the hottest markets in the state of Florida. Certainly the highest average wage is an indication of a solid economy that's transforming into one that's more knowledge, information, and technology based and not so dependent on construction, real estate, agriculture, and tourism. The pipeline of companies coming from the Northeast is the hottest that it's been in a very long time. The higher the taxes, the more it snows in the Northeast, the more phone calls we receive here in Palm Beach County. So we are extremely pleased with the amount of activity. Our biggest concern is not having enough space to put these companies in because the office market in terms of new construction has not really come out of the ground yet. So while we have a strong pipeline, when they get here, we're struggling a little bit when it comes to finding space for these new clients that want to take advantage of the market.
Because people still do want to come here, is what it sounds like.
They still want to come here. And like I said, we had a record year last year, 3,600 jobs and $284 million in capital investment that we brought into Palm Beach County through direct dollars in 25 relocation and expansion projects, taking about 1.3 million net square footage of new space.
Anything you want to tip us off to that's coming? I know you're probably
yes.
in meetings almost every day.
Of course, we sign confidentiality agreements, and if I told you, then my neighbors to the north and south would go after the same companies that I am after. But I would say that logistics and distribution looks great. Corporate headquarters, also very strong. Aviation, aerospace companies, and that hedge fund, financial service, wealth management, those are the easier ones to pick off from Boston and New York and the Connecticut area, and that's a very ripe market for us geographic-wise.
Very good, keeping our business backbone strong. Kelly Smallridge, head of the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County. Thanks so much for coming in today. We really appreciate your insight. Coming up next, the Democrats face off, and one